Back in 1958, the Lake of the Ozarks, where I was for 42 years at Kirkwood Lodge, Lake of the Ozarks had their 50th anniversary. It was around 1980, I think, somewhere in there. And this song came out at the same time as they were having their anniversary. It's called Welcome to the Lake of the Ozarks.
Lake of the Ozarks, this is where the good times begin. Now the head tune couple got a promenade.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take on the Lake with Lake Expo. I'm Nathan Bechtold, and we've got a pretty cool guest on the show with a pretty cool topic today. On the show, we've got John Flippo. John and his wife Shelly own Flipback, which is in Osage Beach next to Randy's. You've probably seen that place. The logo has kind of a cool spirally kind of thing on the logo, and it's a clothing resale shop, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And John has an interesting background at the lake too. His dad, John, shared something on Facebook recently that I saw or heard, and you got a little glimpse of it there with the episode open. And I contacted him and said, "Okay, man, you have to come on the show and we have to talk about your dad." But before we do that, I want to talk about John. So, John, thanks for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and tell us a little about your background at the lake. Just before we turned the mic on, you said that you were not born at the lake, but you were born. You and I have some common roots.
Yeah, I was born in Abilene, Texas, West Texas. My folks own Kirkwood Lodge, which is about a 70-unit resort built in the 40s, I think. And they started working there in the early 60s.
I didn't even realize that. Your dad was Marshall.
Yes.
What was your mom's name?
Nisa.
Nisa, okay.
Yeah.
So they owned Kirkwood Lodge.
Yeah.
And then, so how did you end up in Texas?
Well, my folks are from Texas.
Oh,
so
okay.
they got hired on at Kirkwood to be an entertainment director. My dad did. And
because he was a musician.
Well, he was a square dance scholar. He's not a musician, but a square dance. Him and his friends took up square dancing, and they needed somebody to call the dances, so they took turns. And it ended up he was really good at it.
Yeah.
So he started calling in the 50s, and then he got hired on at Kirkwood as an entertainment director.
Okay.
So it spent half the year in Texas, half the year in Missouri. The lodge would open in mid-April, close in mid-October, and then he would tour the country. He was a touring, he had dates, so he'd go East Coast for 3 months, and then come home for Christmas, and then go to the West Coast for 3 months, calling square dances.
Wow.
And I would start school here, and then transfer mid-October to Texas, and then transfer back to end school.
Okay.
So it was interesting. It was fun while I was in elementary school, but as I got older, it got kind of
little semi-nomadic.
Yeah. So my mom, I'll be forever grateful that my mom, when I was a senior in Camdenton, she let me spend a whole year here, so I didn't have to transfer.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So Abilene, Texas was where you were born, though, because you're basically they were like split in time between Missouri and the rest of the world.
I was born in June, but my mom, both my parents proud Texans. My mom wanted me to have Texas on my birth certificate, so she stayed in Texas until I was born.
That sounds like a Texan.
Came back up here.
Yeah, as a native Texan, I can say that sounds like something a Texan would do.
Yeah.
Totally. I was born in Corpus Christi area and then grew up mostly in San Antonio area.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. Well, that's cool to have a little common root there, and we both have common roots with parents actually that kind of cut their teeth or sort of were at the lake, have roots at the lake, and then we're native Texans. So I didn't even realize that until we started talking a little bit, because my dad grew up here, my grandparents, great grandparents were here and stuff, and then I ended up being born in Texas and then coming back to the lake. So cool common roots. So tell me a little about Flipback and about your kind of like life at the lake and your story a little bit.
Oh boy, well I always worked off and on at Kirkwood when I was a kid. Took a year off from high school after I graduated. Took a year off, traveled with my dad, kind of just all over the country. Kind of drove, set up his equipment for him, did his laundry. Got a degree from Central Missouri State, criminal justice, which I never used. Started bartending while I was in school. Worked all over the lake doing that. And then we opened up Flipback in 2012, and I've been at it for 13 years now. It's a resale clothing store. My mom used to volunteer volunteer for a church thrift store in Abilene. So when we'd go visit her, she'd always take us there and we'd go shopping. And that's kind of where my wife got the idea of, we could maybe do something like that. Because we bartended together at, I don't know if you remember City Grill Blue Room. We managed a nightclub there.
Okay.
And so we did that for 10 years. And then we both just getting pretty worn out, burnt out of bartending.
Yeah, that's a grind.
So kind of started this, and it's done really well for us.
Cool. Great. Talk about your dad a little bit then, because like you said, do you know how he got into square dance calling?
Yeah, well,
I
was saying, he started with some, just, back in the 50s, square dancing was big, and they kind of started as a hobby, and he got to be where he was good at calling. So he started, he recorded a song called The Auctioneer. They take country songs or show to whatever and make a square dance out of it and write a figure to it. And he got to where he recorded a song called The Auctioneer, and it sold, back in the day, it sold 45s, and he sold something like 1 million copies of it.
Oh,
so
wow.
It got really big in the square dance community. If you know a square dancer, chances are they've heard of my dad.
Oh, wow.
And so he would be at Kirkwood. He was the entertainment director. We had high school seniors come in for a month, and he would play rock music, but also he would teach them how to square dance. Then we'd do square dancing for about a month, and then we was on American plan, so we had people come in for just regular families on vacation that would come year after year after year. And then we'd have, I think, 8 or 9 more square dancing weeks to finish it out in October. And then he'd hit the road doing one-night stands, calling all over the country. And Kirkwood was an older resort, but it was a great place to grow up. And he was just, he called there, and then some weekends he would go out, but he's square dancing, when I was a kid, in elementary school, they'd ask you, what does your dad do? We'd go around the room, and I'm like, well, my dad's a square dance caller. You're like, well, no, that's probably his hobby, but that's all he did. He was a square dance caller.
And made a living at it.
Yeah.
Took care of a family and all that. Man, that is so cool. Does anybody even... Are there any square dance callers around?
Oh, sure.
Lake right now?
Locally,
I'm not in that scene right now. So.
Well, it's it's a fading, I guess, activity. It was the heyday was the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Kirkwood we would be have waiting list on the weeks to get in. But it's once that group got older, that the kids didn't really come behind and pick it up. It takes a while. You can't just walk into a square dance. You have to take lessons.
I've been to like some rough, quick lessons before a square dance event and done just like a really small amount of it.
And that's
it was a blast, but that's all I have ever
done. And I never learned how, which people were shocked, but it's my dad never really taught like a full club or lessons like that, so I never learned how. Just the easy stuff, like you were saying, like the PE stuff they teach in elementary school.
Do-si-do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I don't know of any square dancing that happens around the lake. Is there some around here?
There used to, back in the day at Kirkwood, and then they had some square dancing over at Millstone for a while.
Okay.
But there's still, it's still an activity. Still square dance scholars. Still a lot of good friends that I met through the years. And it's not near as popular as it used to be.
Now you could almost say that the modern version of that is like the line dance, right? Because it's like that's the evolution of that. Everybody there's like certain steps, and everybody kind of rotates. I think we should just punt the line dances and go back to square dance.
Yeah.
Cool. It's amazing. And man, when I listen to and we're going to play the audio of in our intro to this episode, we played your dad's explaining the song that he wrote, and we're going to play that song to play us out at the end of the episode here. But I'm always so amazed with all there's a lot of terminology, and there's a lot of things to do in a square dance song. And I think, man, that is quite a skill to have just as the dancer. Much less the caller who's calling it, but the dancers to hear the next call and immediately move into that. I never learned how to do that. And I always think that's so remarkable. And it's funny that was such a big trend that it was sold out. It was a waiting list to get in.
Kirkwood, we get people from Japan, Germany, all over the world. And it's weird. Even if they didn't speak the language, they knew the square dance terminology.
Oh, that's
so they
funny.
could be completely, you watch them square dance, you think, they can speak English.
Speak Japanese, but they know the square dance.
They would just know the terminology, but they couldn't talk to you at all. So that was, pretty interesting.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
And his dad had his own record companies. I think he recorded a couple hundred 45s and then put out 15, 16 albums.
Wow.
Through the years. Yeah.
That is prolific.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you like have all of them at home?
Oh yeah, I got
all that. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. I assume he's not still with us. Did he?
Died in 2018, 91 years old.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. What a cool legacy. We want to play that in just a moment, but any other kind of memories of Dad and growing up in Kirkwood and traveling the country and all that kind of stuff that stand out to you? Because what a unique way to grow up, and what a unique career for a person.
Yeah, he was such a great dad. He would, he loved to golf at Dogwood Hills, and he'd go out there 5 a.m. He couldn't stand playing behind people, so he had to be the first one off the tee. They'd leave a golf cart out for him. Get done, come back, eat breakfast, teach square dancing until noon, teach again in the afternoon. Then he'd come down, pull me skiing, help out in the dining room, square dance at night, go to an after party, get up and do it all again.
Wow.
Yeah. And we skied right there, and it's Backwater Jack's Cove.
Oh, wow.
Kirkwood was right across the cove from Backwaters.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, Backwaters obviously wasn't there, but you could ski in the cove, go back, take off from the dock, let go at the dock.
Sure.
And just come barreling down the cove doing 50 miles an hour, things you wouldn't even think about doing today.
A few people still do that, but they get yelled at when they...
Yeah, there'd be a whole lot of yelling now
That's right.
if you tried that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I mean, and a lot of people have these kinds of memories of the lake quite a while back now. I mean, I'm not calling you old, but it's changed a lot. So that was another thing I wanted to ask you as a person who grew up here and has seen the evolution of Lake of the Ozarks. I always like to ask people, what have you seen change over the years? I mean, there's so much, but
yeah, it's I've never minded the progress of the lake. I'd put this place up against anywhere in the world, really, in the summertime. But it's the lake's just so much more crowded, places to go. I mean, back in the day, maybe you could go to the Clown or the Barge for a burger, but that was it. And now there's so many places you can go, and so many more people on there. But if you get on it at the right time, you can still kind of have it to yourself. If you go out in the early morning or late in the evening or late at night, even you can still get my buddy puts on a little music festival up at Boondocks at the 45-mile marker in the fall, and we take the boat up there, and you get done at midnight, 1 o'clock, and you drive 30 miles back to where we live and never see another boat. And it's really neat. You can still get the lake to yourself, but it's a lot more crowded than it used to be.
No kidding. Yeah, it is funny though to see that, like how people that come, especially just on busy holiday weekends and things, you hear complaints about how busy the lake has gotten. But, like you saw out here, our office has a view down here about the 16-mile marker or so. And so much of the year, even so much of the summer, well, I'll look out and I'm like, man, there's hardly anybody on the water still. Yeah. So much of it is timing, I think, and so even just from a probability standpoint, it seems like, yeah, of course, the most likely time that people would come here would be when most of the people come here. So that's whenever it's like, oh, it's so crowded. It's yeah, it does. It gets very busy on those big weekends, or really any summer weekend. It's pretty busy. But man, summer weekdays, especially like before noon, gosh, there's hardly anything going on.
That's when we get out, and it's fun,
Yeah.
Still ski from time to time.
I was about to ask, you still water ski?
Yeah. Try to get out like once a week, but it's pretty ugly these days. Not near as good as they used to be. But
where do y'all? Where's your place?
We're actually just truly right where Kirkwood was. We're across the street, so we didn't go far.
Nice.
Second tier, but my wife's mom lives right down the road on the water, so we keep our boat down there in Backwaters Cove, and usually go to ski over in the state park. So not far.
Right. Yeah. And again, there's a lot of great places over there too when people want that kind of untouched lake.
Feel.
Yeah. Just go onto the Grand Glaze Bridge and cruise some miles of green shoreline. And there's some areas that people love to go cove out back in there for
absolutely.
sure. I mean, there's a lot going on, but there's a lot of peacefulness you can find, I think, back in there.
Oh yeah,
too.
Yeah, and you still find pretty decent water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. places you like to go on the lake? Like when you guys go out to eat, you were talking about the Clown and some of that from the olden days, but where do you guys find yourselves oftentimes now? You don't have to pick a favorite. But,
well, good. Well, my college roommate was Gary Pruitt, who opened up Backwaters in Gator. And so we go there a lot. And I'm good friends with Mark Barrett, who has Dog Days and Shorty Pants.
Gotcha.
So those are probably my favorites, but we go all over. We took the wave runners out yesterday and went all the way down to the Gravel Arm, went to Hillbilly Yacht Club.
Oh, nice.
And I had Taco Tuesday down there. And
that's a good ways up, isn't it? What on the
it's way at the end of the Gravel Arm.
Yeah, all the way
right next to Coconuts.
Okay, yeah. I've not actually I've not checked that one off.
Yeah, it's a fun little bar.
Club.
Yeah. And then about once a month we'll take them up towards Warsaw, go up, take the wave runners up there to about the 70 or so.
Oh, that's a good day.
Yeah. Spend the day just bar hopping and having fun coming back, running around.
Nice. Yeah, there's so much to do. So that's
cool.
It's
I think somebody said there's like, I don't know how many bars and restaurants on the water these days, but it's a bunch.
Yeah. You could spend all summer trying to hit all of them, and I don't think you'd get tired of it. So you wouldn't have to repeat many.
Yeah.
So great. Well, really, John, I appreciate again you sharing that audio of your dad. I think that again, I was scrolling Facebook at work when I came across this, and you shared this into a group and just said, look what I came across or something. And I thought, man, that encapsulates so much of a time that is gone, like you were saying, but that is so held dearly in people's hearts. It has this nostalgia, and especially this lake and Ozarks nostalgia. It's got, he recorded it with the Lee Mace Ozark Opry group, right? And
he I guess the bank, Bank of the Ozarks, Central Bank, for their 50th year of being open or something, they made this record and put it out, I think, as souvenirs for people who banked there. It got played on the radio a lot, and Dad, he'd always have an ear if he thought something would make a good square dance. He would, record the song as a square dance. And he really liked that song. And if he was up here, he would use Lee Mace's band to record it. And he was friends with Lee for years and years. Lee actually helped him and Carl Williams helped build the Kirkwood walls around, helped kind of build the lodge back in the day when they were kids. So there was always a relationship there. And the guest at Kirkwood would always go see Lee Mace's Ozark Opry while they were in town. So that's what there
was just this core of people in that era of the lake, 50s, 60s kind of thing, that there's these names that come up. You talk to almost anybody that knew anything about what was going on in those times, and there's a half dozen or so names that were just the people that really helped make the lake what it was during that time, that were so unique. Yeah, so you hear Lee Mace's name all the time. I'm learning about your dad a little bit. I hear the Walt Tietmeyer name a lot, and so it's just interesting to think back and hear the names of these people that are legends now, and but of course you can still see Lee Mace's name in places around town occasionally and stuff. But they were such a core part of the lake's kind of tourism scene.
The family resorts back then, Kirkwood, Calfran, Arrowhead Lodge. You don't see that much anymore. But and even like Tantura, when we were kids, we just get dropped off at Tantura, arcade, and ice skating rink, and all kinds of stuff, and you just go that damn with go-karts and water slides and all that stuff. So it was good fun.
Yeah, those were good days. I feel like I caught the tail end of those days as I was growing up. But.
It was definitely. I'm glad I grew up when I did. But I don't, like I say, I don't mind the progress of the lake. What it is now, but it was a great time to grow up back then.
Yeah, great. Well, this song that we're going to sort of play out the episode with, like I said, I think it captures so well a kind of Ozark music. Honestly, it captures. I love hearing that intro that your dad did. I loved just hearing his voice, and again, I didn't know him, but just man, there's so much character that comes through, even just his short explanation.
Yeah, he was a legend. He was much more articulate, much more funnier than I was. The funniest person I ever met. But he was great and beloved in the square dance community, or just with everybody. Anybody didn't like my dad. And for that, that intro, he recorded like a CD of like all of his best songs or favorite best-selling square dance songs. So he did a little intro for each song, and I put it on a CD, and it's really neat, especially now to go back and listen to
I was going to say, I'm sure that's really special for you to be able to go back and pull those and listen to them. So we're going to close our episode today with this square dance song that Marshall Flippo, the great square dance caller, put together. And John, thank you so much for coming on today, man.
Here.
I appreciate it a lot. That has been our take on the lake. Thanks for listening, y'all. Stay anchored, stay curious, and we'll see you soon.
It did pretty good. A lot of the callers just said, like if they call for the Circle Lake Club, they'd say, "Welcome to the Circle Lake Square Dance. We hope you're going to have a ball." Something like that. They'd change it, and so it went pretty decent. I got this song, recorded it down in the Ozarks with a band from Lee Mace's Ozark Opry, excuse me. So welcome to the Lake of the Ozarks.
Welcome to Lake of the Ozarks. Welcome to our special land of Ozark Green. Left Alabama that corner, do-ba-do-side-do. Left Alabama, you want to weave that ring. Welcome to a land that's filled with Ozark music. You'll swing the partner promenade again. Welcome to Lake of the Ozarks. This is where the good times begin. Now the head two couple got a promenade just halfway. Come down the middle and do the right and left through. Why don't you square through, go forward, go walking round the floor. With the outside do you slide through and then go right and left through. And the lady lead to a Dixie style boy sashay across. Then promenade that lady home again. Welcome to Lake of the Ozarks. This is where the good times begin. Now the head two couples promenade just halfway. Come down the middle and do the right and left through. And now you square it to go forward, go walking round the floor. With the outside do you slide through and then go right and left through. And the lady lead to a Dixie style boy sashay across. Then promenade that lady home again. Welcome to Lake of the Ozarks. This is where the good times begin. Circle left, find yourself a lazy day and just go fishing. Sail away to freedom on a summer wind. Left Alabama that corner, do-side-do. Left Alabama, you want to weave that ring. It's a special time and place and you're welcome. Swing the partner, then you'll promenade. It's an Ozark holiday that lasts forever. So put some good old Ozark good times in your plan. Why don't the sides promenade and get about halfway? Come into the middle and do the right and left through. Why don't you square it to go forward, go moving round the floor. With the outside do you slide through and then go right and left through. And the lady lead to a Dixie style boy sashay across. Then you promenade that lady home again. Welcome to Lake of the Ozarks. This is where the good times begin. Why don't the sides promenade and get about halfway? Come into the middle and do the right and left through. And now you square it to go forward, go walking round the floor. With the outside do you slide through and then go right and left through. And the lady lead to a Dixie style boy sashay across. Then you promenade that lady home again. Welcome to Lake of the Ozarks. This is where the good times begin. Circle left, ride the endless open waters to forever. There's a memory just waiting round the bend. Left Alabama that corner, do-side-do. Left Alabama, you want to weave that ring. Take a quiet walk at midnight in the moonlight. You'll swing that gal around that promenade. There's a love song on the water you'll remember. It's perfect ending to an Ozark day. Yes, it's a perfect ending to an Ozark day.